The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back at it again. Here we are, The Local Show, the Steve Roberts Variety Show. Right here for you.
There we go.
You like
to
that?
sing and dance now, too?
I don't do any of those things.
Yeah, that's it.
I just sit here and look at Tom.
We're here.
I wonder how he does everything that he does.
Looking longingly at Tom.
Oh,
Yes.
he says that on the air. He doesn't believe that. He believes he's that in a bag of salty potatoes.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
That's fine. Whatever.
You can't have all that starch. You know, it's terrible. You go to places in the summertime, and of course I back off on any types of major carbs, and people love those salt potatoes. And I'm thinking, I can't have that.
I love carbs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So does your beer wash down that salt potatoes?
Well, yes. I'd rather have the beer.
No carbs for Tom.
You have
Just
to,
beer.
You have to count your carbs, and I'd rather have them in the form of beer.
Oh, there you go.
The hops and wheat and barley.
It's just like bread. It's just a little
right. It's
different,
just liquid.
You
That's
might as well
all.
eat a candy bar. We can. It's the same thing.
Fun stuff. George Powers has joined us for this part of the show. He is the owner of Powers Accounting, gpowers.com. And you work with lots of businesses, with close to 300, 400 businesses in that zone?
somewhere in that vicinity.
200 to 400?
Yeah, somewhere 200, 400. That's a good number.
How many of them would you like to fire right now?
No, that's
Not too many.
true.
Okay.
Not too many.
There are people that circle around every 3 years. You're thinking, where'd they go? And then they want you to do all the catch up and stuff like that, or not too many of those?
There are some of those, and those are tough, but not too many.
You know, back in the 80s, there used to be a lot of little mom and pop shops, and on their sign it used to say, I do taxes.
Yes.
You know, taxes. What makes your business different from those days? And
We do taxes, obviously, but what we try to do is more than that, because a tax return is a historic document. So you want to make sure you dot the I's, cross the T's, do it the correct way with the lowest amount of tax possible. But what is more important is the other side of it. How do you prepare for it? So for businesses, do your tax planning. What do you want to do? How do you do you want to buy something? What do you want to write off? What are you looking to pay your taxes on? We've started doing that with some of our clients already in our mid-year reviews, where we talk to our clients, hey, we've only got 6 months in, but we're 6 months in, so this is where you're looking. Your profit's up, your profit's down. This is where we're projecting your taxes are going to be at the end of the year at this point in time. And then we start talking about it. So after the year is over, there's only a couple things you can do to reduce taxes. Before it's over, there's a lot of things you can do if you're in business. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we take a more proactive approach is, what can we do before the year is over to reduce taxes or to have them be where you want them to be? Because reducing taxes is not always the best thing to do. So for example, if you're looking to get a new loan, so if you want to go to the bank and get a loan, the bank wants to see you make a profit, and making a profit means you're going to pay taxes. So it doesn't always mean paying the lowest amount of taxes. It means doing what is best for your business at that point in time.
when some businesses owe taxes, is that a bad thing? Is it a bad thing to owe some taxes? Maybe you skip a year or something like that. Is there strategies?
Oh, there's all kinds of strategies. And owing taxes means you might have made a lot of money. Right. I tell a client he owes $1 million in taxes. Guess what? He made a lot more than
$1 million. Yeah.
So owing taxes is not always a bad thing. And if you want to keep the money and take the money, you're going to have to owe taxes. It's just part of life.
But like, what if you don't pay the taxes and you go a year without paying? And
you mean you owe taxes and don't pay them, or you just don't owe? You just don't owe taxes.
Well, I know that some people will say, "Geez, I didn't pay last year, and now I owe for last year and this coming year."
Well, that's never a good thing. You always want to pay your taxes on each year. Preferably, you want to pay the taxes in the course of the year when you're making the money. Mm-hmm. So if you're making a lot of money now, the idea would be to set it aside. Pay the taxes now. Right. If you're a corporation or a partnership, you might want to elect into what they call PTET, pass-through entity tax. So what you're doing is you're paying your individual income taxes through your company, getting a tax deduction to the company, but then you're paying your individual personal income taxes. So that's an option that can be had for if you've elected in or have to elect into that kind of a tax. So there are strategies that you can use. And we typically want our clients to pay in estimated taxes or take extra withholding out of their paycheck in order to offset the profits of the business. Because when it comes to filing your taxes on April 15th or before, you should know what that number is within reason and prepare for it. So, you've got money set aside. If you haven't paid the taxes, it means you spent all the money in places that were not tax deductible.
Right.
Which is not necessarily a good thing.
But if you didn't pay your taxes and you had a year where it was like, geez, we were short or whatever.
Why were you short?
Is it? Yeah, right.
Now, I mean, I can see sometimes. I've seen people that make $15,000 and they owe some tax.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have enough money to pay the bills, much
Right.
less pay taxes. I feel for
Right.
them. You can get an installment agreement. You can pay it off over time.
Yes.
But you start
Okay.
making reasonable money, you need to set it aside.
Yep.
I mean, I would
That's
love
the
to say
proper
there's
way.
magic
That's the
ways to
proper
do it, but sometimes you just have to spend less.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about all the things that you need to have. Tom, you just said you're 60.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm 60. Steve's around 60.
Yeah.
When we were kids, there were not as many things available. There was no microwaves.
Yeah. Right.
There
Right.
was, color TVs. Probably not.
No, not in
Cable,
my house.
no cable. No, cell phones,
Cell phones,
didn't
no.
exist. There was one telephone. When we grew up, we had one car.
Yeah.
When my mother wanted a car to take us to the doctor or
Yeah,
whatever we
yeah.
needed, we all got up really early, drove my dad to work, and came
yeah.
and came back, and then picked him up at the end of the day. One car. So that was what it was like. So there was less choices. In today's world, we've got so many things we want.
Way too many things.
Yeah.
Did you
And-
drink water from the hose, George? Too?
Oh, I did. I drank water from the hose too. Yeah,
Just checking.
I'm still here. But so I guess my point is, you say you can't pay taxes. Well, what is more important than paying your taxes? What have you put higher on that list? Is it cable?
Yeah,
Is
right.
it going out to eat? Is it beer?
Beer. Yes. Beer.
All right, now beer may take
Definitely
precedence.
up
I'll give you that.
Some people have like
The top
high
of my
medical
list.
expenses.
The medical expenses.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right. There are situations when a person is just in a tough situation, a bad place. You're right. They've got high medical,
Yeah.
and most of the times medical expenses are not tax deductible. So, can you make payment plans with the IRS? Yes, you can.
Okay.
And there are times when you just can't pay them, and you can get your taxes in uncollectible. That's not typically what we obviously. Most of our clients are business owners, and we work from a little different standpoint for the most part. But
Right.
there are other options and other choices, and sometimes you can get taxes forgiven if you're in the right place. There's what they call.
What do you have to do? Do you have to cry or?
Well, they don't care about tears, but if you're going to do what they call an offer and compromise, you have to basically be in a place that you can't pay the taxes, and there's really no way they're going to get it. So,
Should you ever use those services that say we can get the?
I would not recommend that because
Yeah.
I've seen. I mean, an offer and compromise is a real thing. It's a legitimate thing. I don't do them. I have no moral convictions against them. I just
Right.
don't have the expertise to do offers and compromises. I do know some local people that do them,
Yep.
and if I have a client that wants to or thinks they qualify for them, I refer them over there.
I see.
Because they're local. I know them. I know what they do. I know they do the advertising. We save all.
Yeah,
these
we
people,
save right.
Most of the time, what I've seen with those, is you send them $5,000 and you don't hear from them again.
Yeah, that's
And
scary.
nothing really, and people want to. They want to call them up. They owe $3,000 in tax. They want to offer and compromise. It's not worth it.
Right.
Anything anybody should do right now to save money on next year's taxes if they don't have a business?
There's always the retirement planning. Make sure that you keep track of all your expenditures. There's not a lot of things that workaday folks can do to save taxes, other than maybe save retirement money. That's a good way to do it.
Nothing that people have to have their hair on fire about because of the election of whoever wins.
Everybody's going to
Nothing's
have their hair on fire, and every time there's an election change, people get
Yeah.
nervous. And then once you figure out the new rules, you start going again.
Right, but nothing dramatic that you see.
I don't
You
see
can't
anything.
imagine
one way or the
anything.
other.
Yeah.
We're going to be back to a similar
Just
place.
normal taxes, yeah. All right, well, that's George Powers right there, owner of Powers Accounting, gpowers.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Steve, next up, we're going to talk with Rick Rarick. He is a board chairman of Matthew 25 Farm from Onondaga Grown, and it's going to be right here, that conversation, on the local show on 570 WSYR.